Hi, everyone. I'm Connie Zabo-Schmucker, Advocacy Director at Bicycle Garage Indy, and welcome to Spotlight on Bicycling. We're going to be talking tonight about smart cycling. There's a smart cycling class, and over the summer and fall, I taught quite a few people of smart cycling classes because that was a prerequisite to become league cycling instructors. So we have two of the newly certified league cycling instructors with us to share their experience, both about smart cycling and their experience as league cycling instructors. And so I'll talk a little bit, I'll start off and talk a little bit about smart cycling. So what I did is I taught a hybrid course. Smart cycling can be all in person, but we did the classroom part online. So you can go to learn.bikeleague.org, and there's basic, intermediate, advanced, and the exam. And somebody can gather all of the information and knowledge that they need for the classroom part of smart cycling by going through these quizzes and videos. They're required to pass the exam to show that they've passed the classroom part, that serves as the classroom part. And then what I did is two-hour sessions. The first 2-hour session were the bike handling skills that we did in parking lots, or parking lot skills. Taught them the first week, and then the second week got tested on them. And then we had a on-road route that people rode, and we'd stop at various different parts of the route to talk over what we were going to do next and what we had just done. Since I had multiple people in the classes, I would have different people lead, so I could see how they did the different maneuvers through traffic without watching somebody else do it in front of them. And then the second week, we mostly just rode the route. Again, I had different people lead the road route. And everybody passed. It was great. And several of them went on to take the League Cycling Instructor Program seminar, which just happened, I think it was the 13th to 15th or 15th to 17th of October. So Cheryl and Chyri are here as part of that class. And so one of the things that I've been doing also this year and for many years is teaching people how to ride bikes from the beginning. Smart cycling is not that class. Smart cycling assumes you already know how to ride a bike and that you can handle it fairly well. But I have taught people who don't know how to ride a bike at all. And one of my students, Alice, she taught herself how to ride a bike, so she already knew how to ride a bike, but she wanted to know how to ride a bike correctly. So she came to me for that, and we put together. I've been talking to her about smart cycling, and she goes, "Oh, I would love to take that class when I'm better." And I'm like, "You're fine. You can do this." So I had her do some of the parking lot drills. Now she has a Townie bike with flat forward frame, which means her pedals are slightly forward. So when she stops, she can actually put her feet flat on the ground. So it's flat. And so I wasn't sure how the quick stop would work real well because she's already behind the pedals because of that. So I just had her do 1 brake and 2 brakes for that one. I didn't have her do the instant right turn yet, but she did the avoidance weave and the rock dodge and the quick stop. And so my colleague Zoe put together a video, came out and recorded her. So I'm going to show that just so people get an idea of some of the skills that that we did. And this is Alice. Hopefully everybody can see that. Here she's doing the avoidance sleeve and the quick stop. And that's when she did both brakes, and you can see that she stopped a lot quicker. And this is the rock dodge. So what she's supposed to do is go through those sets of balls and avoid the ball that's in the middle. So she took a couple of passes on that as well. And I'm going to go back to this one. Okay, so to take the classroom part it's free and available to anybody who wants to do that. So you can go to the basic, you usually start with basic and then intermediate, then advanced, and then you do the exam, which fulfills the classroom prerequisite. So there's little videos that go along with that, and it's free, but you do have to register to be able to access those. And overall, they are, very comprehensive of what they cover, but the exam part actually has questions that are not covered in the basic, intermediate, and advanced. There is also a manual, which I'll show a little bit later, that you get as part of the class, which does offer a lot more additional information. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to some of the questions that I had. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And then I'm going to try and see if I can pull this up for me. So, Chyri, if you could start and say why you wanted to become an LCI or take smart cycling. What was your motivation?
Yeah, so I'm Chyri, and I am with Black Girls Do Bike. I am the Cheryl and have been facilitating that group since 2013. So since I've been leading rides and showing individuals the rules of the road, just going through smart cycling made me more confident in making sure that I was telling individuals correct techniques to use. And then, of course, upon finishing the smart cycling, I went ahead and wanted to get my LCI. And I mean, I think it was one of the best things that I could have done, not only for myself, but for the biking group as a whole, just so that, again, I could make sure that I am reaching everyone's learning styles as I'm teaching them on the road, the rules of the road, and to stay safe on the road.
Awesome. Cheryl, what were your motivations?
Hi. Well, I guess I wanted to take the smart cycling course mainly to become a league cycling instructor. But in retrospect, I'm really glad that I did, because I thought I was super confident on, riding on the streets and some of those parking lot drills, but I think it really improved my biking skills and my ability to lead rides, as Chyri mentioned. So it was really beneficial to me.
Awesome. For each of you, what surprised you, or what was your biggest takeaway from the smart cycling class?
So going through, I'll start first. This is Chyri again. So going through the smart cycling, I think it helped also improve my skills, build better confidence, and just made me want to go on, like I said, to the next step to go ahead and get my LCI.
Awesome. Cheryl, there any additional, anything that surprised you with the class, or anything that you learned that you didn't think, you thought you knew, but
Well, I guess, I really thought I knew. I think I thought I knew a lot more than I did, since I've been, my day job is I'm an active transportation coordinator for the Healthy Communities Initiative of Columbus Regional Health. And I also volunteer at Columbus Bike Co-op, which is a community bike garage. So I've been teaching people some of this information for a long time anyway. I think it really, it really helped with those emergency maneuvers. I think those are really beneficial, and that I think if more people learn those, we can prevent a lot of accidents out on the roads. I was really surprised at how much that helped me. And then, of course, I've become a lot more confident on that cycling on the streets. Definitely, I feel a lot more confident about just riding just about anywhere.
awesome. Anything you want to add, Chyri?
Oh, I was just saying, I agree. The parking lot drills, the maneuvers for to stay safe on the road, they really will come in handy. That I think that was one of the things that was the biggest takeaway. Even though we practiced those in the smart cycling class, in the LCI, no matter how many times you practice it, it's something that you just have to keep practicing and keep working at to make sure you can maneuver when the time comes, to make those quick rights and the quick stops and things like that.
Exactly. So some of the things that, or what do you hope to do now that you've become a league cycling instructor? Actually, let's go back a little bit. What did you have to do to prepare to become a league cycling instructor besides take the smart cycling class?
So after taking the smart cycling class, I went ahead and practiced some of the drills. And then there was another exam, entry exam for the LCI. I took that exam, and for me, even though I had the manual, it was still some questions on there that just really stumped me. But I got through that, and I forget what the rest of the question was.
Well, I guess about the class itself.
Oh, and how we had to prepare. So after I took the exam, we actually got into the classroom setting, and we had to teach a segment from one of the 15, I think it's the 15 modules that they have within the book. And we had a class of 6, so each one was assigned a particular module. And after we taught that, then we were able to also go out and set up our course in order to do our drills. And the class was actually from October 15th through the 18th. So it was a Friday evening, all day Saturday, and half day on Sunday.
Cool. And Cheryl, what did anything you want to add to that?
Well, I think Chyri's covered mostly everything, and we were fortunate that we had our smart cycling class only about a month before the league cycling class was being offered. I think if not, we would have had to do a lot more sort of refresher studying, but because it had only been a month, we just had to prepare our presentations and hopefully practice those parking lot drills and do the LCI exam.
Awesome. So now that you're LCIs, what do you hope to do with your newly achieved certification?
Cheryl, I'll let you go first.
Sure. Yeah. And my kids have just stopped making a ton of noise, so that works out well. Well, I'm not 100% sure, but ideally, like if I get my way, what I'd like to do is, so we don't have a lot of, I live in Columbus, Indiana, which is about an hour south of Indianapolis, and we don't have a lot of cycling instruction going on here. So ideally, what I'd like to do is work with our local school corporation to try and offer some classes to kids in elementary school. And I'd also like to offer, part of the curriculum is the bicycle friendly driver course, which is a really, really nice program because it takes the smart cycling information and turns it to suit drivers rather than cyclists. But it also helps the drivers learn a lot more about, well, being safe around cyclists, but also cycling in general. So I think it's a way to reach a lot bigger population. So I'm hoping we can start offering that. And then finally, what was the last thing? Well, and then finally, I think as part of my volunteer work with the Columbus Bike Co-op, I hope we can offer at least elements of the smart cycling curriculum, maybe not the full course, but I think there's a need for that in our community.
That's
Right.
great.
And then Sherry, what would you like to?
So some of the things I would like to do is, one, get more individuals on bikes, more children on bikes, and then also I can provide more workshops for Black Girls Do Bike for the biking group and other individuals as well.
Awesome. Yeah, one of my goals was actually to get more people of color to take LCI or to become LCIs, and 3 of you did, which was great. So you and Vanessa and Nathaniel all are newly minted LCIs, as well as Cheryl and Ed. Who else? Oh, and Damon. So so a really good, strong class of LCIs this year, which was great. And I know Damon with Bike Indianapolis has all sorts of plans to keep you all busy.
Good.
Try and have smart cycling classes once a month. He and I have already talked about that. So I'm looking forward to being of assistance to in any way that I can to. One of the things that I had put out there, and some people have said that they would like to do is maybe 2 or 3 times a year a Zoom call of the LCIs and just share information, or share ideas, or anything like that. So I'll probably set that up sometime over the winter, and have just be able to share some ideas and resources and things like that. The video that I just showed could potentially be a video that we show to encourage people to take smart cycling. And in general, the only smart cycling classes I've ever taught are from people who wanted to become LCIs. So I know there are people that could use the instruction and it would be very helpful. But it's difficult to find them or have them understand that they could benefit from them. So I definitely would like to hear ideas, and I'm always searching for ideas of how to encourage more people to, whether you break it down and you just do parking lot drills, or you break it down and you just do, we're going to go for this ride and take people a little bit out of their comfort zone, using what as LCIs now. But if you have other ideas, I'd be more than very happy to hear them.
Well, over our weekend of our LCI workshop, I had some conversations with some of the other participants, and we all felt that it might help make the class more accessible now that the classroom portion is available online. So that shortens, for some people, it might make it more attractive to shorten the length of the course overall, but they can still get all that information, but just from the comfort of their own home. So hopefully that might help make some people more interested, or at least help it fit into their schedule a little better.
Right. Yeah, Damon and I had talked about, if he wants to do smart cycling classes like once a month starting, March or April and go through October. I recommended that he encourage people to do the online part over the winter so that they have that done before they start the other parts of the classes. And it seemed to work fairly well when I had everybody do the online part, and then we did the in-person, because that did shorten the time commitment quite a bit. When I took smart cycling, it was a Friday evening and all day Saturday. It was a really, really long 15 hours or whatever it was. It seemed to be, it was supposed to be 9 hours, but I think it was longer than that. And you can teach it in all sorts of different ways. So you don't have to teach a smart cycling class itself. You can teach little segments. You could just do the smart cycling or the parking lot drills. You can just do, we're going to go on a ride, and these are the things that we're going to encounter along the ride. You can, encounter one or two of the things, not all 10 that you need for smart cycling initially. So there's different ways that you can do that as well. And there are all sorts of different resources. There's the Smart Cycling Quick Guide that they sell at League of American Bicyclists. I think these are maybe $3 or something like that. They have a sale going on because they're updating them. So you can get them for $1.50 each now. And then there's the Smart Cycling Manual. Oh, it's being weird. There's a Smart Cycling Manual that, like you said, has a lot of good information. There's also a youth skills, and Chyri and Cheryl, there's a youth manual. So it's a youth specifically for things, how to set up educational things for youth. Yeah. Yes, that one.
Received that one.
Yeah,
well.
we can do that better. So there's some different ways that you can get the education. Now, the thing that I'm really excited about also is the bicycle friendly driver program, and would love to see that really, blossom and go wild in Indianapolis and surroundings in the state as well. Just because there's definitely a need to instruct drivers how they can maneuver around bicyclists much more safely. Let's see. Anything you want to add, Chyri?
I think that that would be a good program. The one you just mentioned, the Bicycle Friendly America program, if they offer that to like bike friendly businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be good, because not only are they encouraging people to bike to work, but they're also teaching them the aspects. If they're driving into work and their colleague is on the bike, then they know how to respect those individuals on the road as well.
Yeah, the other people that probably need it and would love to see it are people who drive for work, like UPS and FedEx and school bus drivers and community bus drivers, public transit, because they will encounter bicyclists as a part of their job. And the pushback that Damon has had with that when he's approached those entities is that the program is, or the course is too long. I think it's usually about an hour. And they've said, if you can get it down to half an hour, then we would do it. So, and I've seen that, and the LCI also has a hub. It's like a listserv, and that's been a comment on that as well, is that wanting to be able to distill that information a little. And I think you could probably do it online. Just like the classroom part for the smart cycling, I think you could do the bicycle driver. It's good to have the conversation, and I did actually miss that, even though since I did the classes hybrid. I think if I did that in the future, I'd want to have like 1 hour where we just meet each other online, and I have a better idea of who my students are going to be and what their motivations are and what their experiences are before we meet in person. So that's something I probably would change going forward. Should I do additional smart cycling classes, I'd probably still want to have some kind of interaction, not necessarily on the bikes. But so of your experiences of the LCI, what sections did you have to teach, or as part of your training?
So I had to teach helmet fitting, and which is something that I've taught before to individuals. And I also had to teach on equipment and attire. So what to wear in different biking seasons, whether it's raining or a cold, night riding, things like that.
Awesome. And then Cheryl, what did you have to?
I had to teach roadway and lane positioning, and also cycling in bad weather. Yeah, I think there's definitely a benefit to doing some portion of that training in person or virtual. You know, I think I sort of missed that, especially once I experienced the LCI course. I think it was nice to actually have that a bit of a more formal instruction for at least some elements of the course. Some of it is, you know, pretty straightforward, but there's other things that it's nice to have that discussion to sort of really cement the learning in your mind.
Yeah, I think, you know, some back and forth discussions of scenarios and just experiences that people have had, and, you know, where their comfort levels are currently and how you can potentially address them to go beyond their comfort levels would be, I think, helpful going forward. Let's see. Anything else? So what would you tell someone who's an avid bicyclist who bikes all the time? What would you tell them about smart cycling that is something that they should be interested in and want to take?
So if I was talking to individuals, well, really, I'm going to try to encourage a lot of the ladies that are part of the bike group to take smart cycling, just to get that extra bit of information that I, you know, just can't provide. So it's a different way of learning. So not only have they learned the information that I, you know, supplied to them, but if they're able to go to that class, I just think that it would be beneficial just for everyone involved in cycling. So I'm gonna push the smart cycling class for individuals today, because oftentimes there are, individuals on the road, and maybe they don't know how to know what equipment they need, just in case they have a flat, or just small minor things, knowing what to wear, like you said, of the rules of the road. I think it's important that they take the course, the smart cycling course at least. So that would be helpful when they're out there on the road.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even for those who are out cycling all the time and feel really like they're really advanced, I think there's there's still a lot to be learned from the smart cycling course. Because most of us, as we discussed a lot over our workshop, people normally don't get any bicycle safety instruction, or any bicycle instruction at all, apart from, like a little push and there you go. you're riding now. You can take off the training wheels. That's about it. So I think even the more advanced cyclists among us can learn something, even if it's just, the right traffic laws, or those emergency drills, those emergency parking lot drills. I just think I would recommend it to anyone.
Awesome. Somehow we lost Sherry. Hopefully she'll come back. Yeah, so the other part, or the other audience for smart cycling, are people who are interested in bicycling more, but they just have so many comfort issues, as far as, they don't feel comfortable riding on the road, even if it's a low trafficked road. So they'll pack up their bike and drive it to a trail and ride up and down the trail. And that's the only cycling experience that they have. And I basically like to say, you shouldn't have to drive your car to go for a bike ride. You should be able to ride from where you live and go on a bike ride. Now, not everybody can do that necessarily, depending on where they live, but in general, the skills that you learn from smart cycling make you a more confident cyclist, that you can negotiate small, heavily traveled roads, small sections of them, in order to get to less traveled roads that are much more enjoyable to ride. And be confident in knowing that where you're riding and how you're riding actually plays a big part of your own safety, and the safety of others. So let's see. Anything else you would like to add, Cheryl? I was hoping Sherry would come back, but we'll see.
No, I think you've covered it. I mean, I think it could definitely help boost someone's confidence, especially someone that's not used to riding on roads, because you really do gain the skills to feel like you're, to take the lane, to feel like you belong out there on the streets. Even for someone a little bit more confident like myself, I'm so much more confident now. So I'm sure that a beginner would gain a lot of confidence too.
Yeah, one of the things that I talk about with folks who are timid about riding on roads, most of the time, people who are scared to ride on the road hug the far right side of the road. And when you do that, you're not where you need to be. You've given up your safety space. Because a car driver, if the roadway is wide enough for them to squeeze by you within the lane and not have to get into another lane, they will do that. And if they come too close to you and you don't have any space to the right of you, then you've lost your safety space. So you need to be, in the third third of the way at least into the roadway. Number one, they'll see you more easily. And number two, if they do try and pass you and not give you enough room, you have space to get over. The majority of the drivers who pass me, and I take a lot of space on the road, they go into the other lane to pass, you know, and they give me plenty of room. They don't always give the oncoming cars plenty of room, but they give me plenty of room. So, you know, that's just, and you learn, you know, you learn confidence within smart cycling and as a league cycling instructor when you're, I rarely have people not give me space. And when they do, I do have space to get over, but in general, I don't get honked at, and in general, I get passed with plenty of room. So it's, and I can, you know, I don't enjoy riding on heavily traveled roads. I try and find roads that aren't heavily traveled. But I have the confidence that if I do need to, I can. And that's one of the things you get from smart cycling and also becoming a league cycling instructor. So if anybody watching this would like to take smart cycling, I'll put some links in when we put this up on the YouTube channel for Bicycle Garage Indy. I'll put some links to the smart cycling pages, as well as a link to the video that I showed. And if you're interested in pursuing becoming an LCI, I'll also put the link for that. So the LCI is League Cycling Instructor. So the League of American Bicyclists has this wonderful program, and we're thrilled actually to get 6 new LCIs to be out there teaching. So, all right, so I will go ahead and stop for right now. And if anybody had, Ron or John, do you have any questions? Either one of you? Guess not. Okay. Oh. Okay. So I will go ahead and stop this for now, and have a great evening, everyone, and keep warm and dry as the fall has arrived, and have a great evening. Thanks. Bye.